Okie dokie artichokes. This is episode 3 of the Baked Baker. I'm going to see if I can make this happen. I don't know. I'm still working, so I've got my headset on. I work from home, so we're going to see how many times I get interrupted, but it's starting to slow down for the day. And I want to make some pita bread to have with dinner. So I just wrote down my measurements from the recipe that I've toyed with over the years so that I can leave the phone going and you can keep an eye on things. So without further ado, we're going to make some homemade pita bread. So pita bread is a leavened bread, which means that it has a rising agent in it still, even though it's a flatbread. That's why it's so delicious, I think. And we're going to start with 1 cup of water, 110 degrees Fahrenheit, as close as we can get to a cup. Not going to get too worked up about it, but try to be as exact as possible. And I'm going to put this in for 45 seconds. 45 seconds. See where that gets us. We need to get some yeast out to go with it. This is actually all going to go together to proof. So it's going to be a little different than the baguette that we made the other day. Kind of similar, kind of different. We're going to start with a 1/2 cup all-purpose flour, momentito. Should have been prepared, was not that kind of channel. Okay, so all-purpose flour, just like before. Floof, 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 floof in the crock till you're wearing some of it. Then you did it right. 1/2 cup. 1/2 cup APF. And I'm gonna leave the measuring cup in the crock because I'll be going back in for more. So give this water a feel. Be sure that feels a little warm to me, so I'm going to check it with the thermometer. This is less water than I usually do, which is why I did it for 45 seconds when I usually hit it for a minute. I don't want it to be too hot because, again, too cold will just kind of take a little longer. Too hot, you'll kill it. So 100 and can't see it. 100 and whatever that says now. Oh, see, it's more now that it's been in here for a little longer. Oh, just a minute. Okay, I'm back. That actually was super good timing because I had a call and it allowed my water to cool down a little bit. It had some like hot patches in it, which you'll see sometimes from, microwaves don't tend to cook very evenly, even if it's just water. Sometimes you can just end up with little hot spots. That's why I like to add the sugar before I add the yeast, just as that last little safety net. I'm adding something to the water to help cool it down, just that little smidge. So this is not very much sugar at all. This is 1/2 teaspoon of sugar into the water. That's gonna give our little yeasties something to eat on. They're hungry right now. Hungry, they're gonna feast before they die in the oven. So 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast. This is the active dry yeast, which means we're gonna have to be patient and let it activate. That's okay though, because I'm still on the clock, so might as well be doing some baking. This kind of baking. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mix this all up. All the little chunkies. You don't have to be too aggressive with it, but I just want to make sure that the sugar and the yeast, getting to know you, getting to know all about you, like that. That's what we want them to be doing. Having a little get together. So I'm gonna put that over there, I think. Ooh. As soon as I got that call, I realized, oh shit, they were all supposed to go together. Ha! So I real quick dumped it all in there. But I was worried to mix it because I didn't want my caller to hear rhythmic slapping or anything like that while I was trying to talk to them. I have to hear that from a lot of people. People calling from the bathroom, all sorts of stuff, nasty stuff. I'm going to actually whisk this because this is, see those clumpies? They're probably not the end of the world because of how the yeast is going to activate, but I really would like everything to be, I don't want anything to be clumpy. I want everything to be like the song I just assaulted y'all with. Okay, so is this the right amount? 1 cup of water, half a cup of APF, 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast, half a teaspoon of sugar. Okay, I think it said 15 minutes it wants to rise. So, 15 minutes. So I'm going to put a timer and let this go for 15 minutes. Do some dishes, and I'll be back. This is just a note, just thinking about this. My whisk is one of the things, it hasn't been 15 minutes, in case you're wondering. See, nothing's happened. My whisk is one of the things that I never, ever, ever, ever let stuff dry on it. Especially flour-based stuff. Like, you can look it up. You can make, like, homemade glue out of, like, flour and water. So, if you let it dry on your whisk, you are going to have one fuck of a time trying to get that sucker clean. So, whisk is one of the things that I never let shit dry on it in my kitchen. If I use the whisk, it gets washed immediately afterwards. Just a little helpful hint. The more you know. Okay, 15 minutes. I actually didn't even set the timer. I'm going to do that, and then I'll be back. Beep! Microwave just went off, so that was 15 minutes. My stuff's been doing its thing here. I forgot to say, it says on the recipe to let it rise uncovered. This first little activation rise is not really a rise. It's more of just like a activation thing. But I'll let you guys take a look. It's like kind of thick, foamy at this point. Almost like, I don't know how to put it, like it's like crepe batter. Kind of like crepe batter. Have you ever made that before? Just like really smooth pancake batter. So yeah, that's from the whisking. So to this, we're going to add, first on top, we're going to add 1 cup of flour. I just was looking for my measuring thing. I forgot to put it in here so I wouldn't lose it. I do that all the time. I put stuff somewhere different so I won't lose it. And then because it's somewhere different, I forget where it is. I'm like a squirrel. So the recipe says 2.5 cups more. 2 to 2.5 cups, because remember, humidity is going to be variation. So 2 to 2.5 cups more of flour. Well, I know that come hell or high water, at least 1 cup is getting added, right? So I'm going to just go ahead and add that now. Reason being, I want to add some salt. And salt, one of those interesting things that has lots of cool properties. One of them is that it'll kill things, kill like bacteria and stuff. And we don't want to kill our yeast, so I want to make a little barrier in between. It's not like super necessary, but that's a lot of times where you see that, why you see that salt gets added afterwards. You wouldn't want to put it in with the activation mix because that would kill your yeasts. Like I said before, store-bought yeast really kind of wants to do its thing, so you have to kind of try hard to fuck it up. But lots of people would be like, challenge accepted. And would do it still, so olive oil, just plain olive oil, 2 tablespoons going in. So twice as much. You can think about it, twice as much as that baguette. Still not like a very, or that big, not the baguette, the whole wheat loaf. That was episode uno. For anybody who might be watching, probably nobody's watching. I think I'm just talking to myself in my kitchen, but feels less crazy with the thing saying record. So, oil, salt, thank you for your service. You can go away. Got a couple cabinet doors up last night. That was exciting. Starting to look less like a fucking hot mess in this kitchen. Okay, so mix. Starting from the center. Just going to be kind of gentle so I don't end up wearing it. And when I don't see any more flour sitting on top, I'll start going around the sides, scraping down the sides, and then bringing everything in the middle. Try not to be too, you know, mean to it. Want to get to know each other. It's having like a mixer. It's like speed dating right now in there, actually. So, speed dating's probably bad enough without somebody rushing the fucking timer, right? So, try to just let them have their time. So there it is. You can see how there's like good stringiness to it already, the body in it. That's the yeast. That's the yeast starting to do its thing. See, it's starting to kind of like be a little elasticy. That's what we want. But it's still nice and smooth because we didn't get excited and add the entire 3.5 cups of flour like the fucking original recipe's called for. Which is insanity. I said it before and I'll say it again. You'll end up with some tough ass breads like that if you're not careful. It'll shock your dough. I know it sounds like I'm just being goofy and like getting up on a soapbox, but it'll just shock the dough. Think of the flours, like each of the flours, the little flour granules. Think of them as like tiny little like sponges, like little dried sponges, tiny little natural sponges. And they absorb water, right? The drying process of the flour and the way that the wheat dries in the field before they bring it in, that's water coming out of that flour. And when we're doing stuff like baking, we're putting water back into the flour. Well, flour, super teeny tiny, so it doesn't hold very much flour, but it's also just, it doesn't absorb it very quickly. So it needs a little time to start to hydrate. That's what I'm trying to say. So just don't want to rush things. So we already put 1 cup in. I've got 1.5 cups remaining before this is going to be done. So this is a heaping 1 cup, floofed, and I'm going to shake and sprinkle about half of it over top. And I'm going to leave the rest that I measured in this measuring cup because it's already been measured, right? So I'm going to sprinkle back more in as I need it. Oh, just a moment. Okay, got interrupted for a moment, but that's okay. So life is like post 2020. So here's the flour on top, and we're gonna just start gently pulling it in all the little floury bits. I'm just trying to like drag them into the center. Get the floury bits into the ooey gooey meaty center. So try to be gentle, but I mean at the same time, gotta get in there with your muscles. I think this is actually pretty good exercise. I mean, you know, relatively speaking. At least we're not sitting in a cubicle. Something, right? So this is starting to get more stringy. This is starting to develop some gluten. So this is the rest of that cup. We're going to sprinkle this in. So remember, this was a little bit over, so now we're at 2+ cups that have been added. So we've got half a cup, a little less than a half a cup remaining. And I can feel this is already starting to get to where I may want to get in with my hand. So I'm going to take my spatula, which is a little wet still from the yeast, and I'm going to just, in my bowl, kind of like tap it against this to get it floured. And then when it's floured, then I can take my spoon I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Spoon. And then carefully get it off. So if we hadn't floured our spatula, I know it seems so like persnickety, but I'm just trying to teach, I don't know, that's like the whole thing I want to do in this channel. I just want to teach all these stupid little tricks that I've learned over the years to make your lives easier. So see how it just like didn't stick to it? We didn't have to like dirty our 2 fingers. Everything's nice and clean. And even though we're going to go in with the spatula, it's just nice not to have to like scrape everything off of it. And even the scraping everything off of it, I'm done with the wooden spoon. That's going away in the sink. Even the scraping everything off of it, it's not, again, it's not me being persnickety. It's that you would end up with stuff that's not mixed on the spatula. And if that were to make it into like the pita's done, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would be like a little flour, maybe like a dry flour chunk or like a weird hard little thing in there. Maybe it would like be a hole, right? If it was a dry flour spot. I mean, you never know, but like, be stupid. So this is what I'm doing. I went around the sides, I scraped down the sides, and now I'm taking my spatula and I'm going up under the dough baby, which is forcing the flour to get up under it. What I'm doing, if I were to have eyes in my counter, I would be able to see that I'm like unsticking it from the bottom, right? I'm unsticking it. See, it's unstuck. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow me to touch it with mis manos without making a gigantic mess. This should just be the how to not make messes in your kitchen channel. So, clean hand going in. No rings. The nails should be trimmed, but I'm not making this for other people, I'm making this for me. So obviously there's going to be some skin cells in it, because that's how things work. So here it is. I'm going to go in with my hands, just like we did with the wheat bread. I'm going to go around the outside, around the outside, around the outside, and then squish and squish. Now this dough, if anybody were to like follow along, that'd be crazy. I'd love it if people did that. What if they actually baked the things that I bake? Fucking nuts. Anyway, but if y'all ever tried these two, you would notice the super difference. So this dough, that other dough was more firm. The wheat bread dough, it's like practical dough. That was like the woman you take home to mama one, right? This one is like the one that got away, maybe like the first love or something. What I'm trying to say is that this one is so soft and loose and pretty. Like, you just know it's going to be some tasty food. So I keep kind of just trying to, like, every time I feel it start to get sticky, I just, like, move it around. And so you can see, like, my hands are not, you know, I just rolled some off, but not too bad. Not too bad for what it is, right? If I hadn't done any of this, you know, prep with the little spatula and the flouring and all of this, my hands would be quite a mess. So remember, half a cup was remaining. So I'm going to measure a scant half a cup, because remember my last cup that I added, the 2 of the 2.5, was a little bit over. So this is a little scant, and I'm going to just, again, sprinkle a little. So it's a little cooler today in my kitchen, a little bit, not a huge amount, but it's been raining off and on all day. So I think it's quite humid. And I'm guessing that that'll mean that I'm going to need to add a fair amount of flour, I think is what it works out to. Well, we're going to find out. We'll see. I try not to hurt my brain cells about it, but every time I feel it start to stick to my finger or my palm, I flip it and I like rub it around in the flour. And if I get anything stuck onto it, I'm just going to peel it off. I try not to do too many of those peels because I really kind of tend to get in my head about it and start thinking about all the skin cells. It is a little disgusting, but I don't know. I guess it just is what it is. Gotta get our hands dirty if we're gonna make food from scratch. At least that's what I think. The human hand is still a wonder of engineering and dexterity. I saw in a nature thing, I love watching nature documentaries, but I saw in the nature thing that one of the things that really separates us, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It separated us evolutionarily was our ability, not just that we have an opposable thumb, many other animals have opposable thumbs, but we apparently are the only ones who can touch our thumb to each of our fingers. I don't remember if it was gorillas or chimps. I think it was chimps. They have an opposable thumb, but they can't, this would be too much for them. So our ability as humans to be able to complete grasp is what sets us apart. I thought that was interesting. So a little bit more. This is still a little wet, so I'm probably going to just, I don't know about the whole bit because I'm worried to put the whole bit in. But I probably could have put the whole bit in. But I want to be gentle with it. Because again, this is so nice. This is such nice dough. It's like a pillow, y'all. Wish you guys could feel it, but it's not. Oh man, I love how my little double chin just like keeps going in there. To get some like chin tape or something. Whatever. Chin tape. Fuck that noise. This is just what my airship looks like, people. It's been fatter in the past. It's been thinner in the past. This is what it looks like right now. If you don't like it, well then, nobody asked you. So, that was the rest of the flour going in. And I'm just, with every squish, I'm folding the floury outside in, and I'm turning it, and I'm squooshing. Like every time I squoosh, some of the wet bit comes out. Phrasing! I know, we'll do phrasing. We're doing phrasing. We're definitely doing phrasing in this. Anyway, every time you squish it, some of the wet bit comes out, and we're pushing it into the flour of the bowl. So we're pushing it into the flour of the bowl, and I just keep kind of going around, partly because I don't want the bowl to be a big mess, partly because that's the flour and the dough that we need to add in. So this is starting to feel good. Tiny little bit. That's maybe a teaspoon, maybe? That's not very much. It was just a pinch of flour. That's why I left the crock open. So at this point, I'm not measuring any more flour. I'm just feeling for it. So that still's a little sticky. So I'm going in another pinch. That one was a little bit more healthy. That one might have been a half a tablespoon, I'm guessing, which is about a teaspoon and a half. If I remember correctly, it's 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. Because we're not doing metric like the rest of the world. But that's okay. We're pretty stubborn, and I can't, that's me as well, so I can't say too much about it. Okay, so I want to give this a feel because I've already added a little bit more, than the 2.5. So I'm going to put this on the counter, and look how it's not sticking to the counter anymore. Right? I'm okay doing it. Whoop, it stuck to my fingers a little because it was on there for a moment. So I'm kneading this to make sure that it's all even. But partly I'm kneading it because I'm trying to determine if there's enough flour in there. So what I'm doing, if you were to like zoom in like a magic school bus style manner, like Miss Frizzle style. I'm going to put a little flour down because it needs just a smidgen more. Then you would see like this sort of like lattice work of these protein chains, these gluten strands, the yeast chains. You would see the little air bubbles that are in here from the little farts of the yeasts. So the yeasts eat sugars and they fart out carbon dioxide, I think, dioxide. And that's what makes the little bubbles in our bread, is the yeast farts. And so if we were to see it, then we would see all these little flowers, you know, suspended in this dough. And we would see them all slowly, ever so slowly, getting more waterlogged and more waterlogged. And that's what makes our bread nice and moist and not dry. That's why you see in, like, say for like pancake recipes is one of the most, that's like the one I think is the most obvious, is like pancake recipes. You'll often see where they'll tell you to mix everything together, but then they'll tell you to let it sit on your counter, or, you know, wherever, if I can sit somewhere, for like 30 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, and that's to like allow the flour time to hydrate. So I'm pretty happy with the way this is feeling. I can touch it and touch it, even letting it sit on my hand for a moment, and nothing's coming off. It's smooth looking. It's still tearing a little when I turn it, which I'm okay with. You can actually continue kneading this, if you were so inclined, you could continue kneading this until it was completely smooth. Baker on YouTube, the Chain Baker, I think, the Chain Baker. He's like this big, beefy, like Polish hottie, and he's got these chains on his arms. But his like thing, the very little stuff of his that I watched, his thing is just like he needs like the piss out of stuff because he's got his big ass muscles. But if it was his show, he would like knead it until it's like smooth as a baby's bottom. Oh my god, I got so distracted talking about the fucking Chain Baker. Woo! I just took my whole bowl and I set it in the sink. Thank God there's no like, there wasn't anything in it. It just sat there for a moment, but I'm glad I didn't keep talking and like wash my hands. That would have figured. Episode 3, watch Marina ruin the beautiful dough baby that she just made. Okay. There it is. So, because it's cooler in here today, I'm going to let my oven warm up a little. So for my oven, as low as it goes is 170, and that's nice, 170. So that's where I put it at, and I'm going to let it get just a few minutes into the preheat cycle, and then I'll turn it off, and I'll put my bowl that's been covered with that glass lid in there, and it needs to rise for 1 hour. And then, after an hour, hopefully I'll be done working, come back, make some pitas and some dinner. So, see you when it's done in an hour. We're back. It's been an hour. It's actually been an hour and 10 minutes, and guys, you're gonna freak. Look at this monster. Whoa! Got huge. put my oven rack back where it was supposed to, but this is not a baked bread. This is a pan-cooked bread. It's gonna cook super hot and fast. It's gonna be fun, tasty. So we've got this beautiful dough that we made, and whew, satisfying. Can punch it down. It smells nice. See, it's stuck to the bowl, but you guys are gonna see how easily it's gonna come off. We didn't even have to put it in a clean bowl. All that scraping down that we did the first time, that just helps it not be so dirty. If we had left a bunch of shit on the outside of the bowl, well then, yeah, you probably do want to let it rise in a clean bowl. But if you don't have a million bowls, don't have someone doing your dishes for you, then don't have a dishwasher even. I don't have a dishwasher. I am the dishwasher. So smooshed down, and this bread, or this dough is still so nice and soft. I love to feel it. And look at my hands. Clean. So it's super really nice. Oh, it's such nice dough. We did a good job. Friends, whomever may be watching this ever, or just myself. Good job, Marina. Thank you. Okay. Clean counter. No, ma'am, I don't have anything for you. Thank you. I love you. Come on now. Good. Okay. Okay. Sheet tray here. And I don't know why I had to show it to you. I guess you can see, I'm gonna act like I did it on purpose. That way you can see what size it is. Because it completely doesn't matter. You could get a plate, cookie sheet, more space on your counter, whatever. Maybe not more space. Well, maybe more space on your counter. The point is, we're going to roll them, and we're going to roll them into balls, then we're going to let them rest for a little while longer, and then we're going to roll them out into pitas, and then we're going to cook them super quickly on each side and eat. And we're probably going to make a chicken filling with some onions and peppers in the middle between those tasks, so that we have something to put in our pitas, because I want to eat dinner still. Okay, so concentrate. Do. And the bowl can just go over here for right now. So this is supposed to make 6 pitas. So I am going to get a tool. Pizza wheel here. Not necessary. The reason I'm using it is because it's going to be easy, but it's also not going to do too much to my counters. So that's why I'm not using a knife. But whatever. So we're going to do this into 6 pieces, and I don't like measuring stuff or anything like that. So we're just going to eyeball it by thinking about it like intelligent people. So half of 6, right? 3 and 3. So then each of these needs to be in a third. So that's about a third there, and a third here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doo-doo. Look even to me. If you were working at like a professional bakery, you would just eyeball this stuff and you put it on a scale. You have to make sure everything's exact. This is a home bakery, and it's partly laziness, but it's partly just like, I like to work smarter, not harder. I don't want to have to measure this stuff out, get our ruler. That sounds hard. Pizza wheel is another utensil that I don't let anything dry on it. This little space in here, the space between the pizza wheel and the thingy can get stuff stuck in it, so I don't like anything. I don't like it drying. Nothing dries on that. The whisk and the pizza wheel, nothing dries. Okay. So, the balls, we got the little balls. Wow, these are so nice and soft. I don't even know if they need to rest again for any amount of time. Holy shit. These are just like tender little pillows of something. Man, they're so soft. I'm trying to think about whether or not they'll be able to be rolled out without some more flour, but they really don't seem to be sticking to my fingers, but wow. Or the counter really not bad. I mean, I can feel they've left a little something something there, but not too bad. But we can roll this into a nice ball of dough. And put it, I don't want any grease on these until they go onto the pan. So I'm going to put it on the cookie sheet there. So I'll do this a little slower. I took my dough. This is like, I can feel this is the wetter side, this is the drier side. This was the side that was exposed to the air. This was the cut side. So I'm taking this wetter side because it's naturally going to want to stick to itself better. And I'm just folding it in like a little papoose, and then my little dumpling, putting its little seam side on the bottom. And I'll do it slow, and then I'll show you how you do it. So you take your hand around the outside, around the outside, like this, but you're turning it. So you're turning it like this, and you're like cupping it underneath. Ooh, a little nipple on it. Little bibble. So you're turning it underneath, like picking it up with your hand and shaping it with the shape of your palm. And you're letting it kind of, hard to do with my silly little bangles, but you're letting it kind of turn into a ball. Just with your hand. Don't ever take them off. I'm sorry. They don't all come off. I don't take them on enough. So, nice tight little ball, even on both sides. And put it on the tray to let it rise some more. So we're going to do the same thing. We got the little wetter side that happened to be sticking against the bowl, a little drier side. Tuck it together. Gosh, these are going to be some big pitas. I don't know, maybe I should make this into, I might need to make this into smaller ones. Whatever, we're going to go for it. Biggins. Biggins. Big Mama Jammas. Put that in the title. Big Mama Jammin' Pitas. Okay. Oh, I didn't show that one to you. Boop. Alright, so get going here. This, making the world's longest videos. I don't know what to call it without being cringe. Everything I say is cringe, so I guess it doesn't matter. Okay. Oop, I can hear it squeaking. Little bubbles. I'm going to switch them because my right hand does better work. Freezing! Oh, okay. Boop. Cute little balls of dew. I know it looks like I'm just being silly, but this is how I was taught to do it. The only commercial bakery I ever worked at, so which way we're doing it now. It's just a good way of kind of kneading it together, getting it in a good homogeneous shape, working out any big air pockets, bubble pockets, bubbles. Nice even shape that when it relaxes a little bit, it's going to be good to roll out. Woo! There you are. So, we're going to let these just chill as they are. Not really chill, but they're just going to hang out as they are. And we're going to make some filling. Something to go in the pitas for dinner. It's just vinegar and water, white vinegar and water, 50-50. Cheap, easy cleaning solution for your counters and such. Alright, one paper towel, well, half paper towel. I don't want to use it more than I have to, but I get every use out of it, so I'll get my hands. That dough was so nice. I don't have anything on my hands anymore from it, so that was super nice. Thank you, paper towels, for your service. Okay, so chicken, peps, onion. Oh, I don't want to deal with that onion. I don't want to deal with that onion. Gonna get a fresh one. Okay, so pepper, onion, 2 chicken thighs left over in the fridge. So, first things first, cutting board. So my plan is, I have a loose plan in my mind of what I want to do. I'm just going to break down this break down this onion, saute a bit while I chop up the chickens, put them all together, give them a little getting to know you dance on the flame, as it were. And then I'll make my pitas, put them together, show you what we got, and that'll be it. So, anyway, try to keep it quicker. So, pepper, first wash, obviously, with soap, because apparently they're all nasty from the store. Unless it's from your garden or something, in which case you should still wash it because it's got deer pee and stuff on it. So, knife, be careful. Knife, good big knife, nice sharp knife. Use whatever knife you have, but this is the one I'm using. Hopefully you can see what's happening. Trying different equipment. Sorry guys. You're gonna totally fall on your face! Okay, whatever. Use your imaginations. Figure it out. Okay, knife. I always try to keep the blade away from me, especially if it's a big sharp knife. These are my pips. I just grabbed a half paper towel and I'm just using it to be like a clean spot on my board for this reason. Going to beheads the onion. Think about how I'm going to cut it. Chop it in half. Okay. Blade away from me. Like and subscribe so I can get a GoPro or some crap so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Stuff's important though. Good knife etiquette. Keeps your blades sharp. I don't know if this stuff gets taught anymore. Do people cook with their grandparents and their parents still? I hope so. I don't know. Okay. So see how it's here? Now I can take it, wrap it up carefully because I'm doing this one-handed. So again, if I'm going to use a paper towel, may as well make it last. Use it to wipe my blade carefully. Just get off all the little paper and like the juice from cutting through the middle of the onion. Throw this away. Or stick it in your freezer for stock, but I'm throwing it away. So here's my onion. My half of the onion here. And we're just going to slice carefully. Try not to fling them all around. Try to hold my fingers like that if I can. And just go all the way down, real carefully in the middle. And when I just have the little butt, I'll set that aside. And then with the non-blade side, the blade's up, non-blade side. Don't scrape your cutting boards with the blade. Get little pieces of cutting board in your food. So, onion. Just try not to knock my blade too much. I'm by no means an expert. See how we left this little butt here? There gives you something to hang on to. And it keeps the onion together as you're slicing carefully here. Always away from the blade, or away from the blade. The edge, that's what I was trying to say. Away from the edge. And then again, edge away from me. Be careful, it's towards you. Okay, and then the peps, I'm just going to put them all so they're straight. Take a couple next to each other. Same thing. Just chop them up. Some of them are going to be bigger and some of them are going to be smaller, and that's okay because the small ones are going to kind of cook down into nothing and just be flavor. The big ones are going to be more left over to be a filling. A filling, I hope. That'll be fine. I'm not really even that hungry, but I just wanted to make these. Use this stuff up. Make something for y'all. Do something. Therapeutic cooking. All about that. Okay, so here's the peps. Here's the onions. I don't know how well you could see. I'm going to get a little stand or something so y'all can see these things better. If you want, likes and subscribes, and I might do it. So far, I think we got 1 like and 1 subscribe. So give me some more likes and subscribes. I'll get some better stuff. Anyway, peps, onions. We're gonna go ahead and I want to think about what I'm going to do. I am going to get these sweating in a pan. Fast forward if you want to. I wish I had that light here. That's a sad day. I should bring you along. So my hood vent, I'm working on painting it. So it's down, so not very much light in here. A pan, some spray, not too much. Some olive oil. A little drizzle. Whatever that is, probably a tablespoon or two. It's gonna start doing its thing. You can see and hear the smell when oil starts getting to where you want to put stuff into it. So I've got my peps, my onions, I've got my dough babies sitting out here. I'm like counting backwards. This is how you cook. Like there's a lot of recipes and stuff online where you can just like, oh, how do I make this one thing? And they'll show you how to like make it in a vacuum, you know? But it's like life happens. I would like to show people how I managed to like put a meal on a table with scratch ingredients. And one of the things that you do with that is you have to think about what ingredients need to be cooked last. What stuff can hang out and what stuff needs to be cooked and served fresh and hot. So I'm working backwards from that point. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I can hear my oil starting to do things, so I'm going to go add these in, and I'm leaving you there because I don't want you getting spattered. Just to be polite, and for anybody who might not be able to see that or didn't see that, I just got a pair of tongs and a spoon rest, and I'm going to get my spray spatter guard for my saute pan. So I've got that up pretty high. I don't want to I would rather get them to have a little color on them than to have them be all mushy, right? Because I'm not making them for like a bratwurst topping. I'm making them for like a Middle Eastern inspired pita meal, right? So I've got these little chicken thighs. These are some little pepperoncini peppers. I made them in the crock pot with like Mississippi roast beef seasonings, because I had the seasonings and the peppers and I didn't have a chuck roast or anything. So I'm just gonna slice this against the grain so I can see the turkey, or I keep wanting to call it turkey, the chicken. See the way the grain goes like this across? So then that means we were going to cut across that, so that you end up with chickens, little slices of chicken that have little short pieces of meat, right? So you don't get that stuff stuck in your teeth. So against the grain or across the grain, however you want to say it, cut your chickens or whatever you have. I don't expect you to have the stuff that I have. I'm just trying to show you how I'm doing it with what I've got in my fridge. But you could put anything in these little pitas, honestly, like some taco ground beef or some grilled meats, some vegetables, some peanut butter and jelly, some nothing, some butter, whatever. All of those things. None of those things, any of those things are good. The pepperoncini peppers, I don't want to have these little stems. They're pretty chewy, actually. And then if anything comes out, I'll just put it on the chicken, because that's nice. I don't care about the seeds, because I like spicy stuff, but I don't want any of the ends, because it's like kind of woody. I don't know if I kept that in my brain or said that out loud last time. Oh shit, I was going to put a... Fuck my life. I was going to put a goddamn apron on. Forgot to do so. don't really have any shirts that don't have stains on them, but this is maybe one that's not so bad off. Till I go dicking around with crap without an apron on. Okay, get a move on. They're gonna try to not, they're gonna stop letting you post stuff if everything's so long. But at least this way you can figure out how long it takes. So, chickens, chicken good. I'm gonna go check on my peps and onions over here. Hello, lovelies. Okay, I'm gonna try not to let you fall. So, go ahead and, I don't know how much you can see this. Hopefully you can see. Can you see? Like this. These are looking good. See all that water coming out of them? That's what we're doing here, just to start. Really just getting water to come out. Remember, all cooking, all baking, water. Manipulation of the water. Salt. Potential salt bay. I just like salting like that. I like being able to feel how much salt. To me, that's easier. I don't really have great eyes. I don't have great eyesight. So, feeling it is easier for me. So, I'm adding just the salt. At this point, I'm not adding any of the seasonings that I'll put in, but I'm just doing the salt. Come here, onion. You get in there with your brethren, please. Doing the salt. I remember hearing it one time. I don't remember who it was. Alex Girardelli, maybe? She said that you have to, like, pay the salt tax at the beginning when you're starting to saute food. But I think what she was meaning is that it's like, it helps draw the water out of the food. So, can probably encourages, I would imagine, like, even cooking. Maybe quickens. It quickers the cooking. Wow. Some quality cooking advice on this fucking channel. It quickers the cooking. Okay, so that's everything I'm going to chop. I'm going to go ahead and wash my knife because this is my good knife. It's my lady, as Rie would say. This one's my lady. Very carefully, I'm rinsing my hand of the soap before touching the blade. You can't see this, but I cannot stress enough how careful you have to be. These big heavy knives. I've got a, well, can't see it, but I've got a scar on my finger from where I moved my hand fast. The blade was just laying on the cutting board, hit it, cut it right down to the bone, and it still hurts if I press on it in a weird way. Probably got like a bone chip in here or something, but whatever. Ain't gonna die in one piece, probably. Well, maybe, but you know what I mean. Okay, so, okay. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, help us. Whew. Got my cast iron pan out, and I'm going to check out my peps and onions, probably add this and turn off the heat and just let them hang out while I do my pitas. Okay, all the chickens in, heat down. So I have a rule that I try to do all the dishes that I can. Well, I try to do all of the dishes while I'm cooking a meal so that when I'm ready to sit down, the only things that are still dirty are the vessel that the food is in, and then like the plates and the, you know, utensils. Like that's it. All of the prep dishes, I try to always do that beforehand. And then, to me, like, I just think to myself that after dinner, the dish hat goes away anyway. Okay, set that aside. Probably have to go longer because I'm chatting with y'all, but that's okay. So, got one of these beautiful dough babies. It's very kind of wet on the one side from where it was sticking on the cookie sheet here. So I'm going to just put just a little flour. That's not a lot. A little. And I need my rolling pin. Oh, was I going to turn this down all the way? No. I was going to turn this off all the way, wasn't I? Next, the cover. Quality cooking. I'm cooking. Okay. It'll be so much nicer when everything's back in the kitchen like it's supposed to be. Okay, so I got this little dough ball on my rolling pin. Can't say what it's called, but you can probably see what it is. So I wish you could see this better. I don't know how I'll let you guys see this. Try to do it one-handed just so at least you can see what it's looking like. So, whatever. I hope you can see something. So, just gonna keep going, just keep going. And as I recall, you kind of want to get it as thin as you can get it. And for me, I did not really care that they were particularly like circular. To me, that didn't really matter when I was making them before. To be honest, it kind of like, because we were so careful with the doll, I just tried to make a new contraction. With the dough ball, we were so careful about making it into a circle. This kind of just wants to be a circle anyway, but it's still like, you can't really see it that well from the angle, but it still wants to like spring in on itself, which means that it's still kind of like tight. It hasn't relaxed enough yet. It needs to relax, like American Dad episode with the hot tub. Like, you gotta relax all the way. So I'm gonna roll these out kind of gently-ish because they're not all the way relaxed, but I also just don't want to have this take forever. So I'm gonna forge ahead with the knowledge that I am being in dangerous territory, stressing my doughs. But I'm trying to just stress it in a way that I understand. Knowledge is power, right? So this is really thin. See how nice it is? Doesn't really stick. This is going to cook really fast on our cast iron pan. It's going to be wonderful. Why do I keep putting this lid back on this thing? Keep it off. Ding dong. Okay. A little bit of flour on that wet bit. Ooh, could you hear that? Woo! Squeak there. Okay. So I'm just going from the center out. Center out. If you watch videos of people making, like, you know, flatbread in, like, wherever, India or Egypt or something like that, they usually have this little small one, and they'll, like, hold the ball in the middle and, like, go out in, like, a radius and, like, move the dough around while they're doing it. I'm not doing a good job of describing this, but it's crazy. It's crazy to see it. They definitely do not do it like I'm doing it. They do it super fast and efficiently with this tiny little rolling pin. But it's not what I'm doing because it's not what I have. So really, the biggest thing I'm just trying to do is just make sure that they're kind of thin. That's really all I'm kind of aiming for, because the final shaping is going to happen right before I put it into the really hot cast iron pan. And I don't want to make these until everything else is pretty much done, because once you make them, then you want to eat them fresh. The stuff we made in the other episodes is all stuff that kind of needs to hang out a little bit after you make it. This is one of those things that's good fresh. I wonder how annoying the rolling pin sounds are. Nice. Super nice. Now obviously you could like, ooh, now it's stuck a little bit. Not too much though, it just rose too much on there. Rose on the cookie sheet. So the rising, the like second rise, the one that I like to skip sometimes, is what really expands your dough and makes it like airy and drier. So if it over expands, it can like stick to stuff really easily because there's all that air space. Lots of room for stuff to dry out and grab. Just kind of moving it. Sorry you guys can't see. Keep moving it until it's a nice little circle. Oops. Kind of wanted to peel up. That's when you know it's thin enough, right? Just peels right up. Right in. Anyway. Nice and thin. But I don't remember if I said this out loud or not. There's a lot of that going on, but you could obviously use this for other stuff too. You could make like little personal pizzas or something like that. You could probably even like just bake it up like a little roll or a bread, like how it was. Probably be pretty good. I don't know about that for sure, but I've only ever made this like a pita. So apparently the recipe where I got this from, although I don't remember how much I've changed it, because I do remember I changed it, I just don't remember how much, because this was a few years ago that I found the original recipe. But anyway, I think it was just supposed to be like this, and it said that it was like the temperature of your cooking surface is what determines whether or not there's going to be a pocket. So it's basically like if you get it hot enough, then it'll just make one giant steam pocket and make a pocket, a pita pocket. But I've never had that happen. I've made these a few times. I really haven't even made it that many times. Never. Not like I don't eat pita bread all the time, but the times that I've made it, none of the times I've made it have they pocketed, but they've been super delicious anyway. So that's why I'm making them. Okay, I'm going to pause, clean up a little bit, and I'll be back. Okay, try to get some light in here so y'all can see, since I don't have a stove light. It's going to not be great, but add some seasonings to the chicken and the pips. Just some salt and pepper, garlic powder, some red pepper flakes. What else did I put in there? A little bit of cumin, whatever, some Middle Eastern inspired business happening in there potentially. And I'm just kind of letting it heat up and smelling the spices. And when it gets to that point, just going to shut it off, put the lid, and I'm going to do the pitas. So, I'm not sure I'll be able to eat this or not. Cast iron pan, big flame, big flame. Hot, 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 hot is what we want it. Hopefully you'll be able to see something. Sorry if you can't, but I bet you'll be able to see not nothing. So the biggest thing is that I'm just letting this get hot. I know I said that already, but it needs to get hot. Let's see, we have plates. Put everything on when it's done. I have to be careful, these will get really hot. Okay. Carefully. Ooh, they kind of stuck a little bit. Not too bad, but they did. Okay, remember I said final shape would happen here? Final shape into the pan. Now, you can see it's not like particularly circular in the pan, but that's okay. I don't care if it's a circular pizza. Of course, you could be as careful or as not careful as you'd like to be with this, but I'm just shooting with somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle works for me. So, trying to juggle, letting you guys be able to see and not ruining my dinner. So this is starting to get some bubbles on it. See some bubbles. And if I remember correctly, it's about 30 seconds. I'm also going to turn my heat down a little bit at this point because the pan is hot. Yeah, it's not hot enough yet. As the pan gets hotter, this is maybe not true for like a different, like a thinner pan that you might use, but for a cast iron pan, they'll absorb a lot of heat. That's why you cook with them, because they hold that heat, they absorb it well. These things smell really good when they're cooking. I don't know why, but they smell really like buttery. This has been my experience every time I've made them so far. I didn't really let that one cook enough, but it'll be okay. Be the first one. Oh no! Ah! It's gonna be a giant pita. I don't know if you guys can see or not, but everything's sticking over here. So I have to rescue my breads. Sorry, you can't see this. Oh, fuck my life. No, no, no. Ah! Come here. Oh, it's so thin. This one's gonna have to get like re-rolled, friends. This one's fucked. This one's foobar. Completely foobar. This one, oh my god, these are so thin. We should have put these on parchment. Okay. Do as I say, not as I do. These need to go on parchment. Fuck me. Oh my god. This is a disaster. Look at Rewind and look at how nice they looked. Now they look like fucking shit. Alright, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna fix this. This is real life, friends. This is how shit like this happens. It's gonna happen sometimes. Like I said, I don't have money to make this like 20 fucking times and make it perfect. Besides, better to just show you how to fix your mistakes, right? Alright, this one's gonna have to get re-rolled. This one is completely fucked. This one's salvageable. This one is also salvageable. I think. Man. This one is like 1.5. That's probably gonna have to get re-rolled. This one's gonna have to get re-rolled. This one's needs the half of the other one. Oh my golly. Oh my golly. They fucked. Episode 3. Marina fucks up her dinner. Okay, so I keep just kind of flipping these until it gets some brown spots on it like that. That's what I want. And just like the bread in episode 1, it's going to be kind of hard when you first take it out. Phrasing, I know, phrasing. And it'll be hard when you first take it out, and it gets softer the longer it sits out, so it's too hard. Give it a little while. Probably soften down. Alright, so that's the first one done. Second one is a mess, but we're going for it. Why? Because this is my dinner, and I don't really care if some of it is a little chewier and some of it's a little burnt-er. It's still going to be super good. And it's probably not going to look as bad as I'm going on like it will. So let's see how the second one, not too bad, right? Pretty good. You see the bubbles already? It's doing bubbles stuff already. So the whole pan is hotter. Hotter, hotter, hotter. Let it go. Should be counting, but I'm not counting. Need to figure out what I'm going to do with this next pita. That one's doable. And these 3 need to be rolled out, so I'll need the rolling pin again. This dough is too elastic to do it by hand. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can probably do it by hand. It'll just take some muscle, some patience. It might be a little tougher. But you can use a jar. Careful with these ones that are under pressure, but you can use like this kind of thing, or like a wine bottle, or like this sort of a deal. You can use that in a pinch, but again, just gotta be really careful with it because it could break. That's an ER visit. No, ain't nobody got time for that, right? So this little poofy bit, this little corner where it was folded over, I'm just making sure to like smash it down into the pan. Smash it down hard into the pan so all the little uncooked bits will get cooked. Okay, it's gonna be rustic flatbread. Put that in the title. Rustic flatbread. Anyone can make it. Watch how it can be fucked up and still taste good. Okay. I'm going to keep doing this, and I'll show you what they're like when they're done, okay? Guys, it's a miracle. This is the last pita of my batch here. I was just finishing, and it actually puffed. Look at it, it puffed. It looks like a spaceship right now. I'm trying to get it where you guys can see it. I don't know if it's going to puff fully. I'm trying to get it to where the unpuffed bits are like right over the heat. Isn't that funny? This is the only one that's going to have a pocket. I wonder if I just didn't cook the other ones hot enough. This pan is really hot now because it's the last one. So I thought I'd show you guys. I'm probably just going to rescue it at this point because I don't want it to be too dry. But I thought I could show you because it's super crazy. Look at that. I hope it's not burnt. It smells burnt. Whoop, see? More than I want. Okay. Off with the pan. Careful, the hot. Okay, that's it. Okay, I'm trying to wrap this up. These are the breads. All done here. Looking lovely. I'll sit you down and fiddle fuck with one so you can see what it's like. So, I'm cutting that out of it. Here they are. They smell really nice. They're super like pliable. You can see. Some of them are still really thin. Some light through them. Some of them are really thin. But they're all really soft. See how they'll squish like that? That's what I'm after. So I don't want it to be, this is the only one that actually made a pocket on the inside. It's funny, but I got a little too cooked on the other side. I think that they make these in like stone ovens in the Middle East. They like flap them to the inside of like this big round ceramic oven. This guy like dives into it and sticks them there. I don't know if that's for sure pita or not, but wild. Anyway, I'm gonna dish this up. I'll take one last shot of my dinner before I go eat. But there you go. That's pretty much the flatbreads. Like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Tell me if you'd like me to fuck off, make more videos, edit more, edit less, make something particular. There we go. Anyway, thanks for watching. Show you a little shot of my dinner, but bye. The final product, dinner. Chicken, gyro maybe, something like that. Don't want to blame any particular nation for what's happening here, so I'm here on this plate. So I'm going to just say they're flatbreads. It's not really pita, although one of them pocketed. You are my witness. Y'all are my witnesses. It's going on the internet. It pocketed. I made a pita with a pocket. It actually burnt it. I tried to open it, but it didn't really work very well. I liked the unpocketed ones best. So here we are. Take one bite for you so you guys can see how nice they are. A little bit more. Very good. I do say so myself. So that's it. We'll hang out, watch some TV. Thank you for watching. If you were here, if you made it this far, like, subscribe. Let me know what you want me to cook next. Thank you very much. Have a good night.